Going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing fantastic tonight. Hope everybody has had a great weekend. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2025 fantasy football mock draft here at the Catch with you guys, with the Catch fam tonight. Hopping into a 12-team full PPR mock, rolling with one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, tight end spot, two flex spots, five bench spots. And yeah, you guys know what it is. Gonna have some fun. Gonna talk some fantasy football, starting to ramp up the number of live mock drafts that we do here on the channel. We'll be doing these Sunday nights and Tuesday nights. Underdog drafts will be Saturday nights and Monday nights. So going to be ramping up the mock drafts and the real drafts for you guys as we get closer to the month of August, which is just a few days away. And we are already deep into training camp hype, injuries, all kinds of different stuff. Only got, including today, 5 days of July left. This coming weekend will be our first weekend of the month of August. So it is that time of year, ladies and gentlemen, and has already been that time of year. So we got a lot to get into tonight. We did go over a lot of like the updated stuff last night with everything that's been going on in terms of training camp hype, injuries, all that stuff. But we do have one or two situations to talk about tonight as well. So we'll get into some of that. And then maybe some of you guys who weren't able to make last night, we'll have some of those topics come up again as well. But for now, we need to get this mock draft filled. So the link is in the YouTube chat for you guys. Let's get as many of you guys in here as we possibly can. I'm on here kind of early tonight, earlier than usual, so that's why it's filling a little bit slower. But the link is also live on Discord. So whether you guys want to hop in through the YouTube chat or Discord, the link for the draft is there and available for you guys. And we're going to start tonight's mock as soon as things fill. Okay. So the Cowboys and tight end Jake Ferguson did agree on a 4-year, $52 million extension. So this is interesting because, the Micah Parsons thing is still kind of hanging over the head of the Cowboys right now, and that contract has not been filled. But while this doesn't have like maybe huge fantasy implications in like a redraft setting, I mean, I still think it has some. There's definitely, a scenario here where Jake Ferguson, who's already a good late round tight end, kind of target, is going to definitely be, ensured now that he has a role in this offense this year. And I mean, he has over the last 2 years, right? And last year just dealt with some injuries, only playing through 14 games, and that entire offense kind of lacked, so to speak, with Cooper Rush as the starting quarterback. And like we did see a couple of flashes out of Luke Shoemaker last year as well for the Cowboys, but I think this solidifies that Ferguson is a part of what's going to be a higher volume passing attack for the Cowboys in 2025, and that will obviously impact guys like Dak Prescott. So yeah, from a dynasty perspective, I think this is always good news when you see a player get locked up like this. So Jake Ferguson, 4-year extension when we are looking at that new contract for the Cowboys tight end. All right. The other situation kind of stemming at the moment is an injury to Jawan Jennings. This 49ers wide receiver room just all over the place right now. Jawan Jennings reportedly dealing with a calf injury, had to leave practice early today. This report coming out about 4 hours ago. So I saw a comment like Christian McCaffrey is consuming all of his injury energy from all of the receivers, keeping Christian McCaffrey healthy. But now we're seeing a number of wide receivers go down for the San Francisco 49ers. But like Ricky Pearsall just activated off the PUP list. And now we have Jennings going back down. We have Jennings like in a potential contract dispute. We have Brandon Ayuk set to miss anywhere from the first 2 to 6 weeks of the season. So it's a big question mark when we're looking at these Niners wide receivers right now. I will mention that this is very similar to the same injury that, at least from what I've read, that Jawan Jennings had last spring. So I don't want to like get overly panicked here about Jawan Jennings or anything. I still think he's a good value where he's going. I still think Ricky Pearsall is a perfectly fine value where he is going as well. But it's just one of those things like, we kind of had the pull towards Pearsall for like 48 hours in terms of ADP. Um, or I would say pull away for a couple days there in terms of, the hamstring injury and Pearsall starting camp on the pup list. And then we have him come off of the pup list. We still have Jennings in a holdout situation. Now we have Jennings being tugged more in that direction because of a calf injury, right? And it's just such a murky situation with these Niners wide receivers. And I'm trying not, I don't want to like overreact here. I mean, there's still a very good chance by all accounts and measures that Jennings is good to go week 1. So I wouldn't read too much into this until we get like some sort of drastic update potentially. But with that being said, the George Kittle shares continue to rise. I think George Kittle, who's already solidified as the tight end 3 going into the year behind Bowers and McBride, finishing as the tight end 3 in 2024, will undoubtedly in all drafts right now continue to be selected as a tight end 3. I think there is even an argument that George Kittle could potentially start to go sooner than tight end 3, or at least move up more in ADP overall. And I do think that the if you want shares of George Kittle, it's going to be very difficult without giving up an early round selection. But other than that, nothing that we didn't go over in last night's stream. We have 2 spots left in tonight's mock. The link is in the YouTube chat. It is also live on Discord. So go ahead and hop in there. Let's fill up these last 2 spots. And if there's anything, stemming from the past couple of days from training camp that you guys want to go over, throw it in the live chat. Any fantasy football questions you guys have as the stream goes on, whether you guys are looking at rankings, whether you guys are looking at potential strategies for your upcoming leagues, whatever it may be, get in the live chat. Let's talk some fantasy football. Let's have some fun. Once again, the invite for tonight's mock is live in the YouTube chat for you guys. So we'll be starting in just a few moments here. All right, let's see. But yeah, I'm like, every time I feel like I know where I want to stand with the Niners wide receivers, something else happens. But I would just say, generally speaking, when it comes to Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings, I'm still taking shots on both players. Their ADP is 100% worth it, even if you're worried about the injuries popping up here. I don't know what's going on in that Niners like facility that is causing so many injuries, though. All right, Tommy, good to see you. Glad we got you in here tonight. Ray Gamer, what's going on? Jay Fitness, what's going on, my guy? Always good to have you. Hello, hello. All right, once again, 2 spots left here, and then we will get going. I'm going to go ahead and throw it here in the YouTube chat one more time. We just need one more to get the mock rolling here. Rank these 3 full PPR redraft: Ladd, AJ Brown, JSN. Yeah, this is definitely a good kind of area, the wide receiver position. You're kind of seeing AJ Brown, Ladd McConkey at the beginning of the 2nd round. And JSN is a player who I feel like has kind of moved back a little bit in ADP. Earlier in the offseason, like you would see JSN go sometimes at the end of the 2nd, right in the beginning of the 3rd. And now he's like a late third round player, every now and then even sliding a little bit further back from that. But I am really high on JSN, especially in full PPR going into 2025. With that being said, I still have AJ Brown as the wide receiver one out of this bunch, basically, undoubtedly. I've been very high on AJ Brown all off season long. I think the AJ Brown hate has gone way too far. And this is still, when healthy, one of the most productive wide receivers over the last 2 years. I still believe that the Eagles are going to throw more than some are thinking in 2025. And yeah, I have no reason to dislike AJ Brown overall. I've been very high on him all off season long. So I'll still have him number one here. Then I'll have Lad McConkey. Still feel really good about Lad going into 2025, coming off of a great rookie season. And I think the big thing with the Chargers last year is that or Justin Herbert started the season not healthy and then got banged up again early in the season last year. And the Chargers really didn't get consistently throwing the football till like week 7 of the season, maybe week 6, depending on how you look at it. But then really didn't get clicking until like week 8. And that was like that big breakout game for Lad McConkey against the Saints. So I think that they're going to throw more this year. I still think this is a run first philosophy, play defense for the Chargers. But ultimately, I do think that we could see Herbert in terms of what we see. I mean, you look at the past 3 seasons for Herbert from a fantasy perspective, QB 12, QB 17, QB 11, after being the QB 9 in his rookie season and the QB 2 in 2021. So we've kind of been missing Herbert as a true elite fantasy quarterback. And I don't know if he's going to quite be that, but we could definitely see more volume in the passing game this year. And, you look from week 8 through week 17 last year for Lad McConkey, we only had one single digit performance, and he missed week 14 against Kansas City as well. But ultimately, I mean, Lad was on absolute fire, wide receiver 13 last year, still very high on him at his given ADP. I think he could have, a season that stretches him into the top 10 at the wide receiver position. So still got him number 2. And JSN's got still number 3 for me, but I'm really high on JSN. I really love him at his current ADP. And I think you have to look back to the fact that Sam Darnold was able to support both Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson last year. So like the quarterback switch here, well, maybe I was more comfortable with Geno. I'm not comfortable when it comes to Darnold at the quarterback position. And ultimately, like you look at this roster for the Seahawks, I mean, I know Cooper Kupp is there and everything, but this is still a roster where JSN is in line to be the true wide receiver one, undoubtedly. No DK Metcalf, no Tyler Lockett. It's just released Noah Fant. Now that they don't have other young tight ends on this team. This is a run first philosophy with Clint Kubiak coming in as the offensive coordinator. But ultimately, I think this is going to be a very productive season for JSN. But yeah, I mean, it's a good little stretch of receivers right here. All right, just one spot left. Somebody come get the spot. Somebody take this spot, please. Link is in the chat. Tommy goes, AJ Brown, Lad, JSN. I agree. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you guys. Bo Nix to the moon. I am a fan of Bo Nix this year for sure. Like his ADP. Superflex keeper that I've been in the past few years. Tight end premium, half PPR, half PPR. Tight end premium, half PPR, 12 team. Who to keep? Kyron for a 9th, Wilson for an 8th, Cook for a 6th, Kyler for an 11th, McCarthy for a 10th, Geno for an 8th, and it is super flex. Oh, Weirfield. Finally. I'll get back to this one in just a second, J Fitness. All right, let's do it. I'm sending out the final warnings so everyone has one last notification. Sorry, I sent like 10 out on Discord. All right, let's do it. Boom. Shout out to Broncos Bomb taking the last spot. Hopefully everyone's here. I think we are. Kudo will be here one way or another. All right. That's a tough one. Tight end premium, half PPR. I mean, some people aren't going to like this answer, but in half PPR, I kind of gravitate towards Kyron right here. The thing with keeper questions is it's always tough because like it's hard to kind of evaluate who will be available without knowing the other potential players that are going to be keepers for other teams. You know what I mean? So like if there's going to be like a heavy influx of quarterbacks missing, for example, in a super flex format, then that could be really important to potentially keeping a guy like, JJ McCarthy for a 10th rounder, for example, who I think McCarthy's in line for a really good season this coming year. Geno for an 8th is not bad either. Kyler for an 11th, also not bad. But half PPR, like I kind of gravitate towards the running back. James Cook for a 6 is fine, but Kyron for a 9th feels like a better overall value to me. And I like Garrett Wilson quite a bit, but I think he loses just a little bit of an edge here, being that it's a half PPR format. You get to keep 2. I'm sorry. Do you get to keep 2? Thinking JJ and Kyler. My first pick is in the 5th because I tried winning the ship last year. Now, I don't hate that. I mean, like just going into the draft, having your QB1, QB2 out of the way, I don't hate that strategy whatsoever. You lose a 10th and an 11th, but why don't you have a pick till the 5th? Did you trade them? See, in different keeper leagues have different, rules and everything. But yeah, if you get to keep 2, forfeit your 10th and the 11th, you get the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th round. That's 5 players, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex. You have both your quarterbacks gone. Play late round tight end. It's kind of what I would put together off the top of my head. What do you think? I think that is a good strat. Mr. Magic, Keenan Allen to the Niners. Yeah, this rumor is starting to heat up for sure. I mean, there's a very real world where, like, Ricky Pearsall's back off the PUP list already. He's good to go. Doesn't have any issues through training camp. Jawan Jennings, this thing blows over. It's, not as serious. It's very similar to the calf injury he had last offseason. And they don't make any moves. Plus, I mean, I feel like if Keenan Allen goes to the Niners, he's going to end up with a calf or hamstring injury, right? But yeah, that rumor will continue. It was already a rumor, DK or Pickens and Trey Harris. Just rank them. What's up, Bryce? I'll go on Pickens, DK, then Trey Harris. Or no, DK or Pickens and Trey Harris. I mean, Pickens is my highest rated player out of these 3. So I lean Pickens and Trey Harris, but I do think that Chargers, like, while everybody's pointing to Trey Harris as the player to take over the role there, I mean, don't get me wrong, it makes perfect sense. But I think when we look at this roster at the same time, the reports right now are that Trey Harris has not been part of any first team offensive looks, which could change any single day. Like, and I don't really know that Mike Williams retiring is like that big of an impact, but yeah, the wide receiver 2 spot is open, right? Um, we've got Keandre Lambert-Smith as the other rookie who's making some buzz as an outside wide receiver. And then, like, I mean, like, you can say whatever you want about Quentin Johnston, and like, I don't have any qualms with it. But he had 55 catches last year for 711 receiving yards, 12.9 yards per catch, and 8 receiving touchdowns. Was a top 40 wide receiver in fantasy football. Now he had 91 targets and just 55 catches, so the ratio is not phenomenal there by any stretch. But he's still gonna have a role in this offense. He's only going into his 3rd season. Like, he will have a role. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, the Trey Harris thing could go in either direction right now. But I think Pickens gives you the most upside out of any player available here. JSN over Higgins, it kind of depends. Like, they're very close for me. I think the better floor is going to lie with JSN, but the upside pick is Higgins. So it kind of depends on your roster, how you're looking to kind of build it, and all that good stuff. But I have a tough time passing on Higgins at his ADP, but I'm willing to accept that there's more risk for injury, inconsistency, all of that type of stuff, as compared to with JSN. Like, you're taking the floor, maybe not the highest ceiling, but Higgins, like, they're going to be in those like shootout type games. Average 18.5 fantasy points per game last year. I just have a tough time passing on Higgins. He's a player I've been really high on all offseason long. But once again, I like JSN a lot. So, kind of depends if you're looking to build for take a pick there for the floor overall, or if you're going for the upside. But it's very close. I think in my rankings that I put out at the beginning of the month, I think they were right next to each other. I'll get that pulled up here. I'm almost certain I had them exactly next to each other. Yeah, I have JSN in front of Higgins, but you're splitting hairs there once again. I mean, literally, that tier is Drake London, AJ Brown, Lad McConkey, JSN, Higgins, Garrett Wilson, and it was Rashee Rice. He's probably lowered a tier there. Drake London, AJ Brown, Lad McConkey. Like, you're already splitting hairs between those three. So, it depends. By the way, guys, for anyone who does want to get in on the redraft leagues this year, $20 buy-in for all the redraft leagues. Those are filling quickly. Make sure you guys send me a DM on Discord, and I'll get you guys the link to the league safe for your respective league that you will be joining. And once you guys pay your $20 buy-in, I will send you the sleeper link that you guys can get in. And it looks like we're only going to do 3 leagues this year. So I only got a couple spots left. Should actually check. I'll let you guys know. League 2 is filled. I'm just waiting for 2 more people to pay and join. League 3 is 1, 2. Well, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. If there's a need for a 4th league, last year we did 5, I think. So we had quite a bit more. Plus, through the month of August, sometimes more people like start coming around, wanting to join, all that stuff. So, I mean, I'll do as many leagues as you guys need and want. But yeah, make sure you guys hop on Discord. I just sent the link at the bottom of the chat for you guys if you want to get in. I think I'm going to go 0 RB tonight. I don't know. There's some running backs I really like here. Give me some Devontae Adams, though. Why not? All right, Charlie, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Hello, hello. T's a little unreliable for Ismail. I mean, yeah, I totally understand that. Like I said, you're drafting for the upside with Higgins. Really digging the end of the draft board. Your thoughts? What part of it in particular? I mean, in terms of like drafting from the end of the first round, or just like late round selections at the moment. Oops, sorry. Let's see here. Shadows is wicked. Needs some help. One man keeper league. Keep Karin, lose an eighth. Keep Bowers, lose a 10th. Tight end spot is also tight end / wide receiver. I mean, I think the thing is here, if you forfeit your 10th round selection and keep Bowers, you don't have to think about the tight end spot whatsoever for the entirety of your draft. And he's probably going to produce at least low end wide receiver 2 numbers anyways. So, I mean, I do understand here that maybe like the tight end selection is pushed back a little bit here, because I mean, maybe some teams don't even take a tight end if they don't necessarily have to play a tight end all season long. So it's definitely intriguing, but I think I'd probably keep Bowers in the 10th. I don't know. I'm pretty high on Kyron overall. So, I mean, you can also just go into this draft not having an 8th round selection, planning, for your 8th round selection, obviously be a running back. Don't have to worry about your RB1, and Kyron is that guy for you. So I don't hate either choice here. It kind of depends on how you feel about the tight end spot, I think. I mean, have you gone through this style of league and not played the tight end position before? You know what I mean? How's that worked out for you? How's it worked out for other people? I think I'd probably keep Bowers. Clint Kubiak, a big help to their team. Absolutely. Be a big help for Walker and Charbonnet, too. Day of the gang. What's up, man? How's it going? Good to have you. Puka's wide receiver 1. That's why I took him at the 1-9. You've been notified. LeBron's good to see you. What's up, homie? Charlie, Puka, BTJ is a great start. Yeah, super happy about that. If this is a real draft, I'd be stoked. I mean, everybody goes right there. Genty, Collins, AJ Brown, A-Chain, C-Mac, Bowers, all within perfect argument. Then B-Tom at the 2-4, Henry, Lundo, Ladd. I mean, any of these guys could go at the end of the first through the second round, beginning of the second round, mid-second round. And there's an argument for every single player here. So I get it, but if I can start my draft with a Puka Nakua, a Nico Collins, an Amon Ra, a Neighbors, a wide receiver of that caliber, and then turn around and get Brian Thomas Jr., I'm going to be absolutely ecstatic. And I still would feel really good if I can turn around and get A.J. Brown, Drake London, or Ladd McConkey in the second round. And quite frankly, getting any of those caliber of wide receivers and turning around in the second round and getting a stud running back, any of the running backs you guys see in the second round, I would be happy with, but especially those first 3 in A-Chain, Henry, and C-Mac. But even Jacobs, JT, Bucky, feel really good about those running backs in that type of tier. And I really like the running backs in the third round here: Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, and Breece Hall as well. So, I mean, I've talked about this a lot throughout the course of the offseason. I think the first 2 rounds of drafts this year are just undoubtedly, absolutely stacked across the board. All right, I guess I'm not taking a receiver here. There are some good receivers here. But let's just take Monty off the board, get our first running back. We all agree this is the Cowboys' year. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But offensively, they will be much better. The passing attack will be much better as well. They have been top 12 in passing yards the past 2 seasons. Is that right? I mean, even with I think that is right. I think with Cooper Rush, um, they were still like 11th last year. So 2 years ago they were 5th. And last year they were 11th. Yeah. I mean, this is already a high volume passing attack, regardless of who the quarterback is. But yeah, Pickens over DK crazy. I mean, that's fair. I think DK is a floor play. And looking back at my rankings, I've got in that tier DJ Moore, Ridley, JMO, Godwin, which Godwin's now a little bit murky. Remember, I made these rankings very beginning of the month. Pickens, Flowers, Metcalf, Myers. So I'm just a little bit lower. The other thing, like I understand that Aaron Rodgers will probably elevate this number a bit, but the Steelers are a run first offense under Arthur Smith. I mean, Metcalf is a perfectly fine floor play. And maybe it is a bit disrespectful, don't get me wrong. But I just think Pickens has way more upside. I mean, Metcalf played in 15 games last year, 992 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns off of 66 catches. But like it's kind of comparing apples to oranges with the situation he'll be in this year. And like it's not like Pickens had better numbers than that last year. I mean, 59 catches, 900 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. But once again, kind of comparing apples to oranges, he's going from a bad situation in the Steelers passing attack, albeit with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, to a very good high volume passing attack in the Cowboys. So, I mean, it's fair, but I would way rather draft Pickens right now. It's a little bit of a cheaper ADP as well. There's been some good wide receiver slides in this draft, but I feel like I'm going to be forced to go running back here. Give me my boy. Tommy, I'm going to wait on quarterback in my home league. There's a lot of great value, but JD5 is my guy. Also, maybe I should have went AJ Brown and BTJ in this mock, but I can't pass up A Chain. Yeah. I personally have a tough time not going double wide receiver if I can land. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think AJ Brown, BTJ is a great start, but so I have a hard time. At the same time, like I said a few moments ago, like you want to go A Chain there. I have no problem with. I have a tough time passing on A Chain there. The very beginning of the second round is it's just a tough decision. A Chain, Derrick Henry, the upside that Christian McCaffrey brings, then just a slew of stud wide receivers: B. Tom, AJ Brown, Drake London, Lad McConkey. I mean, and really like even the end of the second round with guys like Jacobs, JT, Bucky. I like Garrett Wilson a lot, you know? So I don't really think that there's a bad selection necessarily. But yeah, for me, I mean, I'm going late round quarterback as well. It's a steep price to go get JD5. How wild is it for CMC to go within the first 5 picks? Um, I I think it would be wild for me. I think in best ball, maybe it's a different story. Like people are gonna want exposure to Christian McCaffrey, and maybe they don't care about the health as much. because you can get those big spike weeks out of him, which is more valuable in best ball, or in a redraft format, it's less valuable. Still hurts you in best ball, right? But like you'll take what you can get. I would have a very tough time. Everybody goes in the first round, and even a couple players you go at the beginning of the second. I still have them above Christian McCaffrey pretty confidently. Um, it, there is still, even if you believe in Christian McCaffrey, which I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like there is still risk baked into drafting Christian McCaffrey, no matter how you want to look at it. So, um, I think the first 5 picks is way too high. I'd rather take Bijan, Barkley, or Gibbs, undoubtedly. I'd rather take JJ, Chase, Lamb, Neighbors, undoubtedly. Amon-Ra, undoubtedly. Puka, Nico. Yeah, I think maybe you could make more of an argument against A-Chain or Genty if you wanted to. But even then, like, I mean, I still have C-Mac on the outside of that tier when I look at my rankings. Um, like, I'm going to take shots on Christian McCaffrey. It's always easier for me to say because I'm going to have dozens of underdog drafts and I'm going to be in double digit redraft leagues, so I'm going to be able to get more exposure and have less risk overall. But yeah, I mean, my running back rankings from the beginning of the month: Bijan, Barkley, Gibbs, Henry, A-Chain, Genty, C-Mac. So I still have him on the outside looking in, and it's really that upside that's carrying him into that situation at the moment. But you look like without the injuries last year, he'd confidently be there, I'm sure, if not higher. Tommy, let's get these leagues filled. We will. We got time. We just got to re-sign Terry. I know, man. What is that? Terry McLaurin will be back, though. He will be. I'm confident in it. Which is why I'll take that kind of discount at the 3.9 all day long. I'm not worried about Terry whatsoever. So if he's falling back in drafts a little bit, it doesn't bother me at all. So Joseph traded early 2025 picks for late 2025 picks. Try to win the championship. Fell short. My first pick is in the fifth. That sucks. That's tough to work around. You're missing the first 4 rounds, but you have your quarterbacks knocked out. Probably can hopefully draft one more quarterback, even if it's like Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson type for some back end depth. In Superflex, it's always valuable. But other than that, you're gonna have to load up at skill positions. Thinking having my QB 1 and 2 locked down will be good. Yeah, I think having that disadvantage of not drafting in the first 4 rounds, I think it'll help you quite a bit. All right, I'm still drafting Chris Godwin here. I am a little concerned in terms of the timetable here, but if I feel good about my wide receiver room, which like in this case, starting this draft aggro at wide receiver, I feel fine taking some shots on Godwin still. Usually don't play a tight end, but last year did since I had Bowers. So let me ask you this question. If you don't keep Bowers and nobody keeps McBride or Kittle, Laporta, I mean, I would imagine if nobody's keeping McBride or Kittle and you're not keeping Bowers, like nobody's going to keep a tight end. So, like, if that's the situation, where do tight ends get drafted in a league where you don't have to play a tight end? Like, how much does the ADP get pushed back? Cat stream's been so early, been missing them. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. We are ramping up the number of streams per week, so hopefully you can get in on some more over the next couple weeks. Time's running out. I'm telling you right now, The month of August is going to fly by. Have 2/5, a 6th, 7th, 2/8. Okay, that helps a little bit more. A 9th and 3 11s. One used on Kyler. What? JJ McCarthy was in the 10th. That's not as bad. Sorry, I wasn't really thinking of it in that nature. I mean, you never know. You hit on these right picks. Could work out. A-Chain's the wide receiver 1. Maybe. I still think Tyreek Hill will be fine. That's about where I'm at with it. The volume will still be there for Hill. I also really wonder about the vacated targets from Johnny Smith's departure. I mean, we look at last year. I'm much lower on Waddle than consensus. A-Chain had 87 targets. Hill had 123. And Waddle had 83. So, like, I don't think it's a crazy scenario where A-Chain finishes second in targets again. But also, when you look at tight ends, I don't really know what to expect out of Darren Waller. I would have a tough time saying it's going to compare to what Jonnu did last year. But Jonnu had 111 targets. So he had the second most targets on the team last year. So, I mean, I'll say this. I think I could see A-Chain having more targets than Waddle. Haven't heard your thoughts on Travis Hunter. I mean, it's still kind of for me like an evaluate week to week thing. I'll take some. I'm taking more shots on Travis Hunter in best ball than anything because I do think those spike weeks can certainly happen. I like him in like a weekly winners tournament. Like I think there is somebody tracking like every day how many snaps he gets on offense and defense and releasing it. I've seen it pop up a few times on Reddit, and I think the most recent one he had taken more defensive snaps than offensive snaps. It's a tough situation to read when it comes to fantasy because like from a fantasy, I mean, I don't know, unless you're playing an IDP, but generally speaking from a fantasy perspective, we're going to want to see those snaps on offense, obviously. And I mean, most of it has been pretty even, around 40 to 60 snaps on both offense and or defense. Some days have been heavier in other areas, one or the other. So I mean, I don't think anyone dislikes Travis Hunter and what he can potentially do. And like they're going to utilize him one way or another. And I like a Liam Cohen offense more than the offense that we got last year from the Jaguars, but I just don't know from a redraft perspective. Like you look tonight, I'd rather take Ridley over Hunter. I'd rather take Zay Flowers. Jameson Williams slid in this draft. I don't know why. I like J-Mo over Hunter. I like Addison over Hunter. Like, I'd rather take a shot on Hunter than Olave or Judy, Debo, Waddle. Adunze is pretty even par. I could make that argument either way. I don't think he should be getting drafted as high as Devonta Smith, Xavier Worthy, or Pickens, or T-Mac. But yeah, it's just, or maybe I'd rather hold off and draft Jacoby Myers or or Chris Godwin, even Jennings or Diggs. I don't know. I once again, like I will have some shares of him, but I'm just not going out of my way to draft him. Let me know what you guys think. Hard to go double wide receiver this year. I don't think it's too bad. I think like if you can land a running back in the third and fourth, you should feel really good. You could do what I kind of did tonight where I've waited. And like the upside on this team is coming from the flex in the wide receiver position, hoping for a floor from running back. But yeah, I mean, if you start with two wide receivers And then you can land any running backs between the third and the fourth that you guys see on the screen. Chase Brown, Kyron, Brees Hall, Kamara, Omarion Hampton, James Cook, Kenneth Walker. I'm really high on that stretch of running backs this year. And I think that a lot of those guys are going to be very, very productive. Yeah, I think you can actually turn out quite good going double wide receiver this year. Maybe it depends on your thoughts on those running backs, though. Tommy, I'm so out on CMC. You are out on CMC. Want to get an alpha running back one early? I mean, sure, but I think any of those running backs we just went over can be alpha running backs this year. Can have that type of production. Now, you look at my team tonight, like, if you're worried about this type of build, that's fair. I will be playing the waivers over here at the position. Tommy, rather wait and get a Kyron, Brown, Bucky. I'm fine with that. Who do you like in the 2/3 turn in the 4-5 turn? Love Bucky, love Chase Brown, love JT, love Kyron. Great tier running backs right there. Sometimes Josh Jacobs is there. Love Jacobs there too. Really high on Garrett Wilson. Really high on JSN. I have a tough time passing on Higgins. I think Tyreek Hill is perfectly fine around that area. Rashee Rice it's a little murky, but generally speaking, I'm okay with Rashee Rice. So I would say that type of the 2-3 turn is not bad whatsoever. I'm not taking a quarterback early. If I were to go early on quarterback, it is like I would just take the swing on Josh Allen because Josh Allen is probably going to be healthy all 17 games, and he's going to finish at worst as a top 5 quarterback. I would say at worst is what, a top 2, top 3. It's like the Josh Allen ADP is completely fair. I just don't draft quarterbacks early. The other situation would be if I see a Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts, more specifically Jalen Hurts, if I see them fall far enough, then sure, I'll take a shot on them for sure. But generally, I just don't take quarterbacks early. Now at the 4-5 turn, that could depend. Like tonight, we see Kenneth Walker land to the 4-12. I'll take Walker there all day long. Cook didn't go to the 4-8. Those are two players that I would definitely take in that range. Sorry, let me make this draft pick. I hate that I keep ending up drafting this player. That's Javonte Williams. But yeah, the 4-5 turn is interesting because a lot of these players can shift in ADP. Like we look tonight, DJ Moore, Jalen Hurts, T-Mac, Walker, Chuba, Pickens, Worthy, Devonta Smith, James Conner. Like literally, those guys could have gone in any order. Could have gone earlier. Could have gone later. Maybe not all of them too much earlier, but they could have. If Walker, Cook, Hampton are there for any reason, great running back, really regardless of what your build is. Chuba, fine. Some people higher on Chuba than me. I think perfectly fine. All those wide receivers are getting a very solid flex play, whether it's DJ Moore, Ted McMillan, Pickens, Worthy, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers. I don't think Sutton, Adams, or Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to make it that far. Probably avoiding quarterback. I will say if Hurts is there, that's a tough. I probably would have a tough time passing up Hurts. Hurts or Lamar stretch that far for some reason. Tough time passing them up. So yeah, you're kind of looking at maybe you get a very good running back value falling to you, or you're just getting a solid flex play. maybe 2 solid flex plays. If you're lucky, maybe get one of those elite quarterbacks falling to you. What are your thoughts on early quarterback tight end this year? I think you're passing up on too much value to skill positions. Yeah, generally speaking, I'm never really in on early quarterback tight end. It's just not how I draft. So, yeah, I'm just out. Like I said, it depends. Like if he's like George Kittle went at the 4-1 tonight, I think that's a great value. Hurts at the 410 is a very solid value. So if the players fall far enough, sure, but generally it's mid to late round picks for me at those positions. Can't wait for everyone in League 2 joins because depending on the draft spot I either raise all hell or I'm very happy. Hopefully you're very happy. Yeah, I just need Kuda. I'm saving a spot for Kuda. And then although I mean it really doesn't matter if I put you guys in League 2 or League 3. So at this point, I was saving a spot for Kuda and Prey. It really is not going to make a difference if they're in League 2 or League 3, though. So maybe it'll just turn to first come, first serve, and everyone will still have a spot. I guess going wide receiver, running back could work depending on where you are and how it looks. I have my friends league draft next Saturday. Definitely wish you luck. Don't panic. It'll be fine. A lot of context missed. This is J Fitness. You're going to make it work if I hit on mid-round skill players. Yeah, I mean, you hit on the right players. Not all is lost there. Plus, yeah, I think for you, I would definitely go with the 2 late-round quarterbacks in Kyler and McCarthy because you should generally still see skill position players, wide receivers, and running backs get pushed back, right? So you're just loading up. Maybe you don't get as much of a ceiling, but maybe go for a lot of safe floors. Thoughts on old man Kelsey? I think he's still fine at his current ADP in drafts. I'll take some shots on him, and he does have the opportunity to break the all-time receiving record by tight ends. And I think it's like 900 yards. Or no, he can surpass. He can become number 2. Tony Gonzalez is 1 with over 15,000. Witten has over 13,000. Kelsey needs a little over 900 receiving yards to become number 2 and surpass Jason Witten. And I don't think he'll be able to pass Tony Gonzalez. He'd have to play like 2 to 3 more years, depending on what you think his average per year could be. But yeah, I think that he will definitely try to do that. He's not going to break any notable number in terms of receiving touchdowns, though. He's like 5th all time. It's crazy is that Jimmy Graham has more receiving touchdowns than Kelsey. It goes it goes Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Gronk, Jimmy G, then Kelsey, then Witten. But yeah, I think Kelsey's fine as ADP. I mean, like, there was regression last year, but no matter how you want to look at it, he was the tight end 5 last year. So. Joe, all in on Hunter, that draft capital plus trade capital is hard to ignore. Sure, but then my worry is like that is part of my, or was part of my initial argument, but then my worry becomes like they also want to use him on defense. They didn't just trade up for him because they want to purely use him on offense, you know? So that's my next concern. Like, how much does the draft capital actually matter? if they're just going to end up using them both ways. You know what I mean? All right, I guess at this point, I'll take a shot on Najee Harris. I want to honor in at least one redraft league. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. Go get you guys for sure. Starting a keeper league this year, says Devin. I have the 1-1. Am I crazy for wanting to draft Jamar, Brown, Burrow, 1, 2, 3 in the first, second, and third? No. No. I did this. So weekly winners on Underdog. I just did a draft like this. So those weeks that the Bengals ball out, I'm reaping all the benefits. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to check right now, which I'm in a lot of weekly winners tournaments right now. I think I may have drafted T. Higgins as well. Hold on. Burrow, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Rest of the team, I got Burrow, Fields, Chase Brown, Walker, ETN, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jacoby Myers, Jordan Addison. So, yeah. I don't want to say you're crazy, but if you ever do go this aggressively in on an offense, you just have to keep in mind that they will have down weeks, and you will have to pay the price of the down weeks. Mahomes falls crazy. Yeah, good value for you. I like more of a balanced roster than one-sided running back, wide receiver. I do as well. Mahomes is a bum. Mahomes is fine. It's QB 11 last year with 2 wide receivers injured. Offensive line regressed. Isaiah Pacheco was hurt. QB 8 the year before. He's fine. Can't call Mahomes a bum if we're not calling Justin Herbert a bum or Kyler Murray a bum or Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott, which some of you guys are calling those guys bums. But, you know, his ADP, especially if Rice, Hollywood, everyone's healthy this year, it makes perfect sense. Mahomes going out later is because of Rice. Sure, that does make some sense. What are your thoughts on Jordan Mason? I see him getting a decent role regardless of Aaron Jones. I think he's fine. I know it's a boring answer, but like I will say I'm not as high on Jordan Mason as some other people. I think it's Aaron Jones' role to lose. I don't know. I wouldn't draft him as like a player that you're expecting to start week 1. You know what I mean? I still think it's a situation I'd rather see shake out as opposed to make an assumption about. Is it crucial to have your 2 running backs locked up by rounds 4 or 5? I mean, ideally, like you're getting a big drop off after. I mean, like you look tonight, like I didn't go running back till the 5th round, and like my running back room is not great, but my upside is at wide receiver, and the flex spots have that upside as well. I'd say, generally speaking, at least go hero running back and get 1 through the first 3rd round or first 3 rounds. Who else is joining League 3? I have a couple names. Not off the top of my head, though. Plus, some of you guys have different YouTube usernames and Discord usernames, and we still have a couple open spots for League 3, but it'll be filled in the next week or 2. Would you rather Pearsall or Jennings? That's a good question. I'll both. Wow. Sorry, Alberto. Probably Jennings. I think I'm still higher on Jennings overall. I still think Pearsall's the floor. Jennings is the upside pick at the end of the day. So I think I'd rather take this swing and take the upside on Jennings. But as we discussed at the beginning of the stream, this Niners wide receiver room is a mess. Steven, would you trade Kyron for Nico? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very high on Kyron. I feel like I'm higher on Kyron than consensus. But I would definitely rather have Nico. Yeah. Depends maybe what the format is here. If it's dynasty, if it's redraft. Not really. I think I'd rather have Nico easily in both formats. Not big on Mahomes, just the value. Yeah, it's great value for either. Favorite middle round running backs, wide receivers in the 5th to 9th range, considering super flex. I've done some mocks. Seems like running backs are Monty, Connor, Chuba. Wide receivers are like DK, Sutton, Xavier, Worthy. I love all those wide receivers. I like Sutton and Worthy more than DK. I mean, if you can eat into like that whole stretch of receivers, Sutton, DJ Moore, T Mac, Pickens, Worthy, Devonta Smith, Flowers, Ridley, JMO, Addison. Those are the guys I like. I think Rome Odunze fine there too. Travis Hunter, okay as well. Like you get any of those guys, like I think you're getting really safe floors with some upside, depending on who the players are. If you can get a Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara to fall, I'd feel really good. Sometimes James Cook falls. Chuba's fine there. Monty perfectly fine. Connor's fine too. Yeah, I mean you're getting a lot of safe floors here. Walker, my favorite out of that bunch. Don't know if he'll quite be there for you, but definitely my favorite, who sometimes falls. Everyone else that you listed is perfectly fine. Probably have Chuba, Monty, Connor be my ranking there. Then Sutton, DK for a floor, Worthy for upside. I will go through all the teams here at the end. For anyone who wants to review, please let me know and I'll go through them. J Fitness, I got you first. People are going to want to reach for that tier of Kamara, Cook, Walker. Now with the Mixon news looking bad. That is true. Like I've been a little bit lower on Mixon in that tier throughout the offseason. And now that he's out, that hurts my liking of Kamara, Cook, and Walker. Would you pick up Rice at all? What ADP? What about Godwin with his injury? Yeah, obviously, it's like tonight I drafted Godwin. I'm still in on Godwin at his ADP. I would maybe like to see Godwin fall a little bit more, but if I feel good about my wide receiver rooms that have or wide receivers that I've already drafted, then I'll take a shot on Godwin like I did tonight. But I am a little worried about his overall situation there. But yeah, Godwin at the end of the 7th, beginning of the 8th, especially if he falls into the 8th round at any point, late 8th round, I'll take Godwin still. You can almost draft Emeka Egbukpa as like a handcuff there. In terms of Rashee Rice, I'm still basically drafting him at the same ADP. Once we get hit with the real suspension, if it does happen, then like maybe we can look back here and make a decision then about where his ADP should be. But right now, it's just hard to say. If you don't want to deal with the situation, draft JSN, draft T. Higgins, draft Terry McLaurin. But yeah, I would still draft him. All right, let me know if you guys want a team review. Let's start taking a look at the board. Thank you guys for drafting tonight. Thank you guys for all the fantasy questions. Another one in the books. All right. J Fitness. Wait. You're the number 4 spot, not the number 2 spot. Right? Kuda's at the number 2. All right. Late round quarterback, late round tight end. Here we got Bo Nix in the 8th, right around his general ADP. And I like Bo Nix a lot at his ADP, finishing as the QB7 last year. Player that I've talked a lot about this past offseason, a player that I'm really high on. Player I liked a lot last year as well. Bo Nix is fine there. Fergie, Goddard, perfectly fine. Late round tight end room for sure. Barkley, Pollard, Mixon, Ramondre. Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, DJ Moore, Devonta Smith, Mooney, Shaheed. It's a pretty good team head to toe here. It is a hero running back team. I do think Mixon is fine at the 7-4. I like Pollard actually a lot as an RB2. Mixon is a pretty good value there. Prefer Aaron Jones, but he's already gone. I mean, if you were to have waited till the 8th round, you get too many guys are gone here. So I think Mixon's actually a good value here. Stevenson will get some volume. It's just his backfield to lose, and he can easily end up losing it. He's not the running back with upside there, but like, sure, in the 10th round, with who was available, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Good 4 wide receivers to start as your wide receiver 1 and 2, and the flex. Mooney, Shaheed, 2 good upside picks. And like, I think Moody's ADP is going to move back just a little bit. It didn't really tonight, but I mean, that's the thing. He is going to miss a couple weeks of that shoulder injury, but he could still be ready week 1. So Bo Nix, either tight end, Barkley, Pollard, Garrett Wilson, Rice, DJ Moore, Devonta Smith. If Rice is missing time, you're moving up DJ Moore, then that second flex just becomes one of the leftover players, Mixon, Mooney, Shaheed. So solid team for sure. Good hero RB build. Tommy, glad we got you in one tonight. Mahomes in the 9th. We already talked about this. Good value for sure. Kittle in the 4th. Like, it's basically at end of the 3rd, beginning of the 4th. You could look at it either way, but it's still a good value. A-Chain, Brian Robinson, Jordan Mason, Jalen Wright, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Ridley Hunter, Keon Coleman, Jalen McMillan, said Tillman. So, yeah, I mean, this is perfectly fine. I do kind of worry about the running back depth. Like, I think Mason and Wright are fine, but to me, they're still handcuffed running backs. I mean, Wright, you're handcuffing A-Chain. Mason is definitely can't have standalone value. Don't get me wrong. And then you have 4 solid players to fill in those 2 flex spots, wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 as well. So, yeah, this is perfectly fine. You're starting Mahomes and Kittle. Really good value, once again, at quarterback and tight end for you. A-Chain, and I think Brian Robinson, if you're going to go hero running back, is fine as an RB2. Then A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley, Travis Hunter. So it's a good kind of blend of upside and floors there, and a good enough bench as well. I do like some of the shots at these late round wide receivers. I'm not as high on Keon Coleman as some people, but still a good back end part of the draft. And yeah, in terms of your RB4 with what was available, you may as well just handcuff Devon A-Chain. So not a bad team. All right, Foster's at the 1-3 tonight. Jalen Hurts at the 4-10. I do like that. Kincaid in the 13th, I like a lot. That's who I was hoping would fall, and I ended up with Kyle Pitts. Who, for some reason, I'm like finding myself drafting Kyle Pitts again. Nonetheless, JT, Kyron, love that. Caleb Johnson, Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears, Jadon Blue. You got a lot of running backs on this team, 6 total. JJ Worthy, Jaden Reed, Ayuk, Leggett. So I'm probably not drafting. I mean, I like Tajay Spears, but I'm probably not drafting Tajay or Jadon Blue to this team. I'm probably drafting Mooney or Pittman, and then whatever wide receiver you like there at the 10-10. Probably Shaheed or Marvin Mims for me, or Bateman. I mean, Bateman available there, or Christian Kirk. Like, I would reach for those guys potentially. I mean, Ayuk and Leggett are fine, but I'd rather take a shot on running back as opposed to wide receiver. I mean, still okay value on Ayuk and Leggett, though. But you're starting Hurts, Kincaid, JT Kyron, JJ Worthy. And, like, I mean, you end up flexing Caleb Johnson and Aaron Jones, or Jaden Reed and Aaron Jones. So, like, you're fine for the flex. Like, once again, I like Tajay here. I understand the Jadon Blue pick. I'd rather see those 2 picks as wide receivers personally, because you just have a little bit less depth and immediate consistency. Now, you're going to be able to draft Ayuk and more than likely just throw him on IR. That does fill up a spot, but I mean, you're fighting for waivers at that point, right? But yeah, in essence, the build still works. Mr. Magic at the 1-6. Purdy, that's fine. Ingram, also fine. Hampton, Henderson, Warren, Ford. This does make me a little worried. I mean, I like Hampton a lot. will say I'm basically all in on Hampton at this point. I'm not worried about the Najee volume, any of that. I think Hampton could really end up being like a Jahmyr Gibbs in his rookie season. Hendo, fine, but I think Stevenson can still get some volume there. Warren, like, okay, but I think Caleb Johnson is the back to own. Jerome Ford is banged up right now. This team's a mess. Maybe the volume's there if Quentin Junkins doesn't get signed or is suspended. But wide receivers look very good. Neighbors, Ladd, Higgins, JMO slid in this draft. Jawan Jennings, great value there. Bateman, very good value. Thielen, good as well. So, I mean, you're loaded up there. I'm just personally like, I'd rather take Brian Robinson or Tyrone Tracy over Jalen Warren. I'd probably take Najee Harris or Nick Chubb over Jerome Ford. But really, with that stretch of running backs, whatever. But Purdy, Ingram, Hampton, Henderson, Neighbors, Ladd, Higgins, JMO. And then like you have great depth at receiver on this team. May even be Hampton and Warren to start. Running back situation behind Hampton makes me a little worried. Other than that, I like this team. I still think Henderson down the stretch is the back to own for the Patriots, though. So it could work. Just might be getting a little bit less upside at RB2 and kind of feeling that out as the season goes on. All right. Random post at the 1-7. Lamar and Kyler, McBride, and Njoku. Obviously, nothing to go over here, other than the fact that if I spend a third and fourth round pick on a quarterback and tight end, unless the value is just insane, I'm not picking another quarterback or tight end in a single quarterback redraft format. That's also not tight end premium. With that being said, you're loaded at both spots. Gibbs, Harvey, Judkins, Bigsby. Like, see, you got a little bit of a shaky running back room here. Lundo, Adunze, Cup, Jack Bash, Hopkins. Also, question marks at receiver here. You can help alleviate some of those question marks by drafting wide receiver running backs over the additional quarterback and tight end here. You're starting Lamar, starting McBride, and that's the thing. If you own those two guys, they're fully healthy. You're never starting anyone over them, regardless of matchup, unless they're injured, right? And except for the bye weeks. The bye weeks, you can go grab, Geno Smith and Brenton Strange or whatever you need to do, right? But you're starting Lamar and Trey McBride, Gibbs and RJ Harvey, London and Dunze, and then like it just gets a little murky for your flex. Cooper Cup, we don't know what's going on with Judkins. Don't really know what the volume for Bigsby is going to look like. Jack Besh, in terms of the training camp reports, everything the moment is leaning towards Donta Thornton getting more first team reps. The DeAndre Hopkins probably going to like 3 or 4 solid games this year, but he's going to be touchdown dependent. You know what I mean? So it's just a little tough there. You could flex. You're probably flexing David. It's probably going to be Lamar, McBride, Gibbs, Lundo, Harvey, Adunze, flexing Cup, flexing Njoku, which could still work, but it's just not ideal for me. Disconnected autos, drafted Kyler, Beshkin, Hopkins. I mean, these things happen. Last 3 picks auto selected. These things happen. Yeah, because then you look at the board. If I go Marvin Mims or McMillan, Bateman over Besh. Diop is actually like okay there, but maybe I prefer Hollywood or Tillman. Even then, hard for me to draft Njoku if I already have McBride, but you can flex a tight end, so there is that argument. All right, Ray Gamers at the 1-8. Burrow, Herbert, say no more. Mandrews, say no more. I'm high on Mark Andrews where he goes. I'm fine with his ADP. Henry, Hall, Pacheco, Rashad White, good running back room. Amon-Ra, Sutton, Myers, Pittman, Kirk, Hollywood Brown. I mean, good wide receiver value throughout this draft. Starting Burrow and Andrews, Henry and Hall, Amon-Ra, Sutton, Myers. And that last flex is Pacheco or Pittman. Maybe even Kirk or Rashad White. I actually really like this team. I think it's a very solid team, head to toe. Good value basically at every position throughout this draft. Maybe I don't draft Herbert here. Go for an additional wide receiver, running back, since you have Burrow. Other than that, solid squad here. Good team. All right, boys and girls. So that does it for tonight's draft. Thank you guys for drafting. Let's roast my team very quickly. Fields and Pitts. Training camp trend down on Fields, trending up on Pitts. Either way, they're both on my team. Monty, Swift, Charbs, Javonte, Najee. Win zero running back here. We know that we're going for the floors with Monty and Swift. Everybody else are bench running backs. 2 handcuffs, 1 bad situation for Javonte, and I guess a bad situation for Najee. Puka, Beaton, McLaurin, Adams, Godwin, Diggs. We're loaded up at wide receiver. Starting Fields, Pitts, Monty Swift, Puka, Beaton, McLaurin, Adams. Some veteran-esque presence in Godwin and Diggs for flex options when available and healthy. Although Diggs has been a full send in training camp. Godwin with a questionable timetable. Then, once again, just some question mark running backs to help out the depth. So, it's a strategy. It could work. It's honestly okay, but we've seen better. What's going on, John? Bears 1985. Good to see you, bro. Johnny Edwards. Hope you are doing well as well. Always good to have you in the streams. Appreciate you stopping in. All right, guys. So the redraft leagues for the year are open and filling. If you guys want in, they are a $20 buy-in. At this point, I'm just going to switch it first come, first serve. All you guys are going to be able to get in, so don't worry. But, I've got like 2 spots I've been saving in League 2. And then everybody else in League 3, I think there's like 5 spots, 4 maybe. So I'll send you guys a league safe link. Once you guys pay your $20 due, then I will send you a sleeper link. You guys will get in. So they are filling quickly, and they will fill by mid-August undoubtedly. So once you guys get that sleeper link and you guys pay, actually, once you get the league save link and you guys pay, you'll get the sleeper link. And let me just check so you guys know how many spots total I have left. Yeah, so 4 spots between the 2 leagues left. So if you guys do want to get in, make sure you guys send me a DM on Discord. And they'll probably fill over the next week or 2 anyway. So just a couple spots left. But yeah, we want you guys in. Just $20 buy-in. Do it every year. It'll be fun. All that good stuff. So, all right, that does it for tonight's stream. Be back on tomorrow for an underdog draft. So make sure you guys are staying posted. Come out, watch me draft your team tomorrow. And we'll have plenty of content dropping throughout this week as well. So make sure you guys are stopping in and checking out all the content throughout the week. So thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you guys for talking some fantasy football. Thank you guys for drafting with me. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And peace.